It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all know the sound. It happens. Your phone. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection that covers those kinds of mishaps. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus more features, like 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage, all on the best networks. Straight Talk Wireless only at Walmart.
See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts 121. I'm Chris. I am in Norfolk, Nebraska today, and my last Untapped check-in was the Zokavesa from Stone Brewing.
This is Dugout. I'm in Boston, Michigan. And my last Untapped check-in was Citra from Decadent Ales.
JR here in Grosse Ile on the island. My last check-in was French Toast Devil Dog from Roke Brewing Company.
Beer for breakfast. It's Uncle Pete in Rockwood, Michigan. My last Untapped check-in was Pain by Greenbush. It was a Imperial Milk Stout.
Ooh,
all right.
That just sounds like the ABV has to be high.
11 point something,
Yeah.
but I posted on it, don't let the name fool you. It was a sweet delight. I mean, it wasn't causing any pain whatsoever.
Nice.
Well, as always, we'd like to invite all our listeners to join us in having a beer. So cheers to everybody out there. Crack open a cold one with us. And we're not pretentious beer snobs. The motto of our podcast is to introduce more good people to more good beer. So let's commence the show. I think a lot of us are tired from all the holiday hustle and bustle, but we wanted to get in a few holiday beers here. And I think, Chris, I think you're going to start things out with the first beer of the evening. So,
Yeah, from a brewery here that gets high marks, I do believe, from all the beer nuts here on the show. Deschutes. They have something called Jubilale. It's the bottle says it's a festive winter ale. The profile says it's cocoa, dried fruit, and toffee notes, a robust ale with a warming spice. 65 IBUs, 67, yeah, wow. 6.7 ABV. Pouring it into the glass, like a nice, thick, kind of a cream-colored, tan-colored head. Took a while to settle. You look at it, we're kind of a translucent brown. Like it's not opaque, but it's definitely not like transparent. Some light's getting through here. I keep smelling bananas. I know that usually means a sign of Belgian yeast, but I don't know. I just keep picking up. Maybe it's like the toffee. But I just, when I put my nose in this thing, what I'm really getting is I'm getting the banana. Maybe it's like the toffee and the cocoa mixing together, but I'm picking up banana. So taking a sip, a nice like straight down the middle mouthfeel here. Maybe actually though a little creamy with this head. And then as far as the flavor profile, we're getting that fruit in front, and then that cocoa's kicking in the back. So I mean, kind of the spice is muted overall through this. I mean, this is really good. I mean, you see all of the usual suspects out there with the holiday ales. Your Great Lakes Brewing Company, your Sierra Nevada Celebration. This is one that I didn't know Deschutes made a holiday offering, and I picked this up, and I'm rather pleased. So. Deschutes, I mean, another home run from these guys. I don't think I've ever had a beer from them I didn't like. So if you see this, I'll pick it up. It's the holiday season. I'm sure there's plenty around.
Oh, I'm glad you like that one. People shouldn't be afraid or scared off if they taste a banana flavor in their beer. Quite honestly, could be a natural characteristic, like you said, based on the type of yeast used. And it's not uncommon for beers and the fermentation to come up with esters. They're called esters or phenols. flavors that, are characteristic of the fermentation process. So, banana's not uncommon in some beers, and I just wanted to point out that it's not something to necessarily be, scared off and say, oh, this beer is bad because it tastes like banana.
Well, I like bananas, so for me, it's a win.
Well, that's good.
Well, you can always try the Dragon Mead Final Absolution. That's another beer that has a distinct, that Belgian banana yeast esters.
I see that kicking around a lot.
Yeah, right in your backyard, Chris. It's not too far from you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, speaking of that area, I think we're going to move a little bit over to Clausen for Dugout to introduce us to the next beer.
All right. Well, what I have is from Ohio. It's a brewery that we've mentioned a few times on the show. It's Fatheads Brewery, and they are out of the Cleveland area. And this particular beer is called Pimp My Sleigh, and it is listed as a Belgian-style Christmas ale. And the website says it's 10.5% ABV and 30 IBUs. A little description here is this rich, complex Belgian-style holiday brew has intricate aromas and flavors of sweet, dark malt, dark fruit, raisins, figs, anise, and spicy phenols. A thick, creamy head always tops it off. Hops used are Vanguard and Mount Hood. Malt is Pilsner, Pale, Melanoidin, Aromatic, Crystal 8090, and Oats. The yeast is a proprietary blend. And beginning gravity at 22 Plato, ending gravity at 3.5 Plato. So it does have some sweetness. And the color is a deep mahogany and red. And everything the website says is dead on. It pours a dark mahogany, very clear, sort of a tannish head to it with a little bit of lacing. The nose, I'm getting those same banana Belgian yeast esters as you were, Christopher. So, definitely a plus. But I'm also getting some, a little bit of alcohol, but definitely some dark fruit in there. Some raisins and plums in the nose. It's got, let me get into this one a little bit here. So yeah, you can tell it's got a pretty big ABV. There's a slight little burn to the front of it. It definitely has those dark fruits and some nice malt sweetness to it. It does have a touch of sweetness in the beer itself. It you don't get those kind of added spices per se. I mean, this is a clean brewed beer. It's everything that's spicy you're getting on it is done with the malts and the yeast and the hops. So, but it's you can tell it's got the kick. It's dark and fruity and malty, and it's got kind of that sneaky creep up on you sort of sense, like, ooh, I know I should kind of take it easy on this one, but it's so good. It really is delicious. If it's Fatheads doesn't do anything bad in my opinion. So this stuff's rock star. If you see it, get it. It's probably not going to be around for long, as most of their seasonal releases are not. So,
and I love their labels.
Labels are great. It's got a really fun name to it with Pimp My Sleigh, and it's the Fatheads guy in a Santa gear with a purple hat and just some nice holiday. It's got a purple background to it, but just a nice holiday themed beer. And you know what? It wasn't off the charts as far as price goes. I think it was about $12, $13 for the 4-pack.
Was it Fatheads that had words on the caps or under the caps, or am I thinking of someone else?
I'm not sure. I think they left the cap downstairs, so I can't really check on that. I opened it before.
For some reason, I was thinking sometimes they have little words under the caps, but yeah, I love those labels with the Fathead dude. He's always geared up in whatever the theme of the beer is. I love it.
Are you getting royalties for that, Pete?
You too, brother. You too. Well, that sounds good, Dugout. And sometimes, I don't know, how you poured it, if you poured it cold right out of the fridge or you had it warmed up. But I had a few beers this week, and I was noticing that I was pouring them cold out of the fridge, and I wasn't picking up on some of the flavors. And after, 5-10 minutes, and it had a chance to warm up 5 or 10 degrees, then he had some flavors popping out all of a sudden. So maybe the spice flavor that they're advertising in their write-up will come through as it warms up. I don't know.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that it's not uncommon for that to happen. So if you pour a beer cold and you go, there's not much flavor, I'd give it 5-10 minutes and let it open up, just like a wine. You got to let it open up, let it flourish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean this particular one still has some chill on it, so I could see this definitely opening up more as it warms up. I still have 3 others to go after this one, so I can definitely do the test of how warmth affects the flavors on the beer.
You're going to go for all 4 in one sitting? Wow.
No, sorry.
I'm impressed. Well, that sounds good.
Well, it wouldn't be out of character for Doug.
Well, probably not tonight, though.
Not on a work night.
Maybe on maybe Saturday on our holiday party.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to move on to my beer because I've been waiting to crack it. I'm thirsty. So I am going to crack open a bottle of Dark Horse Maple 4 Elf Winter Warmer Spiced Ale from Dark Horse Brewing out in Marshall, Michigan. So here we go. Famous for their 4 Elf party, which was just held last weekend. It's a party I've never attended, but for those that have attended, I've heard great things. So I just poured this out, and I've got a real nice one finger, that nice beige cola-looking head that's hanging around for a little bit, which is nice, ever so slowly dissipating. So I'm looking up, and I'm seeing like a hazy, pretty dark, like dark brown, not completely black, just very dark brown color. I'm smelling on the nose. I'm getting spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, more overwhelming. I'm really looking for maple. I'm not really detecting much. So let's take a taste. Starts out a little sweet. Again, I'm looking for the maple. It starts out sweet, then it goes into the spices are pretty prominent, and then it dries out at the end, maybe with a little bit of smoke, like a little smoky peat type flavor. Let me just take a taste again and look for that maple. I'm not getting too much maple. Maybe just a tad after the spices. It starts sweet, then the spices take over, and then it's kind of like a dry finish with a little bit of smoke. And I have a feeling probably, just like we just discussed with the last beer, once it warms up at the end, I think you'll maybe get a little bit of that maple.
Is it clovey at all, or nutmeggy, or anything like that?
More nutmeggy, maybe a little cinnamony, but it's not. Some of these holiday beers I hesitate to buy because all you get is clove, cinnamon, allspice. It's just overwhelmingly spicy, like baking cookies or something. And this at least is not overwhelming like that. It's got like a good balance of different flavors, and the spices don't just overrule everything, which is nice. Just take one more quick sip here. Yeah, it's actually I would say on the mouthfeel, it's probably medium. It's shading more to the full side of medium. It's not bad. It's 8.75%. It's I didn't know what to expect here. Let me read the description from the brewery. It's IBU's 36, so there's a little bit of hop bitterness in there. And that's, again, after the spices fade, you get a little bit of that. It says 4 Elf is a holiday cheer in liquid form. Spicy aromas like cinnamon and clove give this dark brown winter warmer a proper holiday welcome. Balance between malt, hops, and spice at 8.75% ABV. This beer goes great with all holiday foods, from sweet snacks to the roast beast. So yeah, it's a pretty easy drinker actually for 8.75. It does hide its strength quite well. I could knock back a few of these no problem. It reminds me almost of like a brown ale type consistency with a little bit more going on with the spice. I guess my only wish for this was, I was excited because I love maple in beer, but I also know that it's challenging to, get maple flavor in a beer because maple ferments out. So you almost have to back sweeten it to get the maple in. But, and if you do a crappy job of that, then you just got a big sweet candy maple, which is no good either. But I'm going to let this one warm up and maybe the maple will emerge at the end. But other than that, it's a very delightful holiday beer that I would be happy to serve at a holiday party at my house. So just like Dugout, I have 3 more to go.
Cool.
There you go.
But I'm not going to drink all 3 tonight. So
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I know the Dark Horse had the annual 4 Elf party last weekend, and there was quite a few beers released. Missing among those, though, was the bourbon barrel aged Plead the Fifth, which caused a lot of folks a little bit of concern because it's a very popular beer on an annual basis. However, there were a number of new beers on the order form, and apparently did not sell out. And my sources tell me that they were made available today, actually, at the general store at Dark Horse. So if you're available and are heading over to Marshall, Michigan, check out the general store at Dark Horse and pick up some good new beers.
Absolutely. And on that note, Pete and I made the journey out to Kalamazoo last week and picked up a few bottles of barrel-aged Third Coast Old Ale. So I'm looking forward to sampling that. I haven't opened any of mine yet.
Yeah,
Have you tried yours yet, Pete?
Nope. Gonna have one soon, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, good experience at Bell's Brewery that day in Kalamazoo. Always fun to take a little road trip and get out of town and go pick up some good beers. So on the horizon, I should mention as well for Dark Horse this weekend, they're opening up for their Mug Club memberships. So if you want to get in line early on Saturday morning, you might get lucky. I don't know what the limit is, how many mugs they're producing this year. It's usually a limited number. And I think it runs like $70 for a lifetime membership, and you get all the little perks that go with it. Bigger fill, cheaper cost for fill, advance notice on all the events and stuff like that. So.
Well, one more quick comment on that trip to Bell's last week. We were underdressed for the occasion. It was also Eccentric Day, so we met a lot of people, a lot of very unique, interesting costumes. But even though we weren't dressed up, we fit right in, and actually, unbeknownst to us or covertly, Larry Bell happened to just stop by our table and was talking to people at the other end of our table, and it was a really fun day. We just spent a couple hours there and then headed back east, but really good time at the Eccentric Cafe on Eccentric Day. We did pass on the Eccentric Ale when we learned it was brewed with mozzarella and tomato. It was like a pizza themed beer. So,
man.
I passed. They had 6-packs for sale, and we declined.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a step back because Uncle Pete, you were mentioning that numbers were down quite a bit on the 4 Elf party, and it was my understanding that in the years past they would make people line up outside in the cold, and some people would just stay overnight and put up tents and things like that. And I'm just
have a beer share.
Yeah, and I'm just curious if that sort of mentality or that sort of way of doing things has run its course, and that people are kind of tired of that sort of that's the way it goes rather than a ticketed release, and that so you don't have to stand out in the cold weather, those kind of things. I know it's it's certainly curtailed any of my activities as far as waiting for beers or waiting in line for beers. If I know I'm going to be outside and it's going to be a long line, you know what? I'm not doing it. Sorry.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
There's so many good beers out now, and you know the availability of things is so much better than to sort of. I mean, that stuff's great when you're in your 20s, but you get a little older. Who the heck wants to stand out in like cold and rain and snow and ice? It's. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what
is the beer worth it then?
I don't know what the facts are. I mean, I wasn't there, and I don't have the numbers, but I know there were people there, and there were people, that were there overnight and did the beer share, and they love that kind of thing. I don't know if numbers were down significantly or not. I mean, you might hear through the grapevines that they were. And I think the other thing that wasn't in the favor for the event was I think they released kind of late in the game. Shortly before the event, they released what they were going to be having and what the details were. So a lot of people that normally plan in advance, and a lot of people like to travel, might have felt a little shortchanged and said, "Oh, we're not going." But nonetheless, they had an extensive list of beers available, which a few of them did look quite interesting, and I wished I could have gone, but just didn't pan out for me either. All right, I'm gonna pour up my beer because I'm getting thirsty now, and I got one here from Oddside Ales in Grand Haven, Michigan, called Bourbon Maple Wishes and Pecan Dreams. It's a bourbon barrel-aged porter with maple syrup and pecans. It's got a nice artsy black label with gold print in a nice English scrolled gold frame with a beautiful slice of pecan pie on a platter set atop a bed of maple leaves with hop vines and pecans dotting the label. Very nicely done, very professional looking. But let's give this a pour. I haven't heard much about this one, and I haven't really done any advanced research on it. When I look now online, there is not a whole lot actually on the Oddside page, the brewery page, really, other than what it says on the label. But it is barrel aged. It is 11%, so I'm not going to be feeling any pain from this one either. But it's very aromatic. I poured it at an arm's length into a glass, and already, without even drawing the glass towards my face, the aroma has wafted over this way. And it's a very nice, sweet aroma, a little bourbony. That smells like mapley too. I get the maple on the nose. It just smells delicious, like a liquid candy bar. It's got a really long-lasting, creamy tan head, pitch black. Let's give us a taste. Now this one I already let warm up a bit, so man, it's fully opened. The maple is prominent in this. Got a nice roasted undertone and a nice coffee flavor underneath. Trying to detect if it's got any nuttiness to it. I mean, pecans aren't really nutty, so to speak, or earthy tasting. They're more sweet tasting nut. But this is definitely a diabetes bomb. I mean, it's sugary, almost like a milk stout. It's got great smooth, creamy body. The barrel and the wood and the bourbon flavor comes through very nicely. I mean, everything is there, but I'm not really detecting pecans. However, they're probably contributed to the sweetness. So, all in all, overall, I think it's a very nice beer. It's a great beer, I think, to share. 2 small glasses out of a 12-ounce bottle instead of one for myself. I'd rather split it in 2 and let someone else enjoy half of this with me on a nice holiday night to celebrate the season. So cheers, and Merry Christmas to all the listeners. I hope you have a beer in hand and are joining us on this episode for Holiday Beers.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And I had one of those last week, Pete, and it was delicious.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I think I need to thank you for procuring one for me. I couldn't sit on it as long as you did. I had to pop it, and it was really good.
Yeah, it's been staring at me for a week, I think. We were down in Detroit when we got them, I think. And, I'm happy that I opened it tonight.
Well, amen. That's good lineup of some good holiday beers to warm you up. Temps are getting colder, and pretty soon Santa will be coming down the chimney, at least for some of us. Or some of us might be Santa going down the chimney.
Yeah, speaking of getting colder, I froze my tail off today, but for a worthy cause. I did follow through, as I mentioned at the end of our last episode, and I did brew today and brewed up the batch of Resilience, the Butte County Strong IPA, to honor the anyone affected by the Camp Fire in California. It's the Sierra Nevada recipe. So I got 5 gallons in the fermenter right now, and it's starting to percolate. And I look forward to kegging it by the end of next week. So a little chilly out there in the brew house today.
Amen. But, well, looking forward to trying that, as well as some of Dugout's great home brews, and looking forward to getting together as a gang again for our little holiday get-together, which will be coming in up this weekend. And that'll probably be our last episode of the year. Give us a little break for the holidays and get back at it around New Year's Eve. So really looking forward to that. And I can tell you I got some few good things set aside to share with my fellow beer nuts. So,
all right. So you're driving and we can drink the most of it, right?
No, I'm bringing the good stuff. Someone else is driving.
I thought I'd try to beat the punch.
I think what we ought to do is have Uber drive us, but we can discuss this later. But we're going to have a safe ride one way or another. I will not be behind the wheel, and I hope nobody listening gets behind the wheel after having a couple pops. It's that time of year where a lot of festive parties, but you got to be worried about who else is on the road, and just stay safe and pony up for the Uber or the Lyft or get a friend to give you a ride. Stay safe, because nothing ruined the holidays like being irresponsible. So enough of dad talk here.
You think there's a eggnog beer?
I hope.
I bet
not.
there is.
There's got to be like an eggnog stout or something like that.
Ooh.
I'm not saying I'd like to see it. I'm just there's with all the crazy things we've seen over the years, it's got to be out there. It's got to have happened.
Well, it says Goose Island had one at one time.
Oh.
If I'm going to drink eggnog, I'm going to pour me a big glass of rum and top it off with like a sliver of eggnog and say, there's my eggnog drink.
Yeah.
It was a chocolate malt porter aged in a combination of rum, bourbon, and brandy barrels with added lactose.
All right.
So a simple search on Untapped for eggnog will come up with quite a few. Great Lakes had one. As you said, Goose Island. Springhouse Brewery has a eggnog stout. So there's quite a few of them.
Shipyard.
Yeah, that was an IPA. Commonwealth. Let's see if there's some other bigger breweries in here. Weldworks out of Colorado. That was a barley wine. Imagine, that's some guts, man.
Wow.
Eggnog barley wine?
Yeah, to make a barley wine.
Go big or go home, right?
Yep.
Well, that's the way to do it, because when I choke down eggnog, I just liked a lot of booze in it. So the booze overrides the eggnog. But hey, it's the holidays. I guess I could try. Keep an open mind and try anything.
I tried Bailey's, John.
As long as there's no pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But hey, don't forget my Carbop Stout.
that's right.
It's true.
You need to make
You
one.
might have to contract brew out of your garage this year.
Okay, let's do it.
Final batch.
We need to.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we'll do a double batch, and I can have one last batch before I move away, if that ever happens. I seem to be destined to stay here in Michigan. Certainly for the winter. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for sharing those holiday beers with us, and hopefully our listeners are also able to enjoy some good holiday beers. And until our holiday episode airs, I wish you all the best. And as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
And now more Straight Talk from Straight Talk. The big wireless companies say they're the only way to get the best coverage.
Because they've got like a gajillion cell towers?
Something like that. But Straight Talk Wireless runs on those same towers, so you get the same great networks for up to 50% less.
I wonder if they're counting that one in Kickapoo, Kansas.
Oh boy. Switch today and get our unlimited plan for just $45 a month with 25 gigs at high speeds and no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.